Welcome to the Ozark Hobby Adventurist. I'm Ken, and we have a special guest today, Scrappy, the RC truck. Yeah, the one you see in the films. Well, he turns about a year old today, and so we decided that after running a year with no mods, really, it's time for an upgrade. So, SC10 axles it is. Okay, this is actually going to be pretty simple. Pull off the body and my electronics box cover. And then we're going to take the tires off. We're going to take out this screw, this screw, this screw, and we're going to undo the shocks on both sides, which is really easy to do here. These pop off. Now I'm going to take this apart and I'll be right back. Well, I pulled my two shock screws out there, and I just wanted to show you how easy it really is to do this. Now that my hand's in the way, okay, so here we have everything disassembled. Now I've got a couple parts on here that I'm going to have to order, but I just couldn't wait to get it put together. So what we're going to do is we're going to unscrew all of these. Okay, and one thing you're going to notice here is that this ball end has a piece that sticks out this far. What you want to do is get a ball end that doesn't have a piece like that for down here on this end. And so now what we're getting ready to do is we are going to screw these pieces on after we take them off. Okay, here's our bottom link. And we're going to screw that onto the bottom link. These are 2mm thread, by the way. Yeah, I've been messing around with RC cars for a little over 25 years. And I enjoy the heck out of it. Now we have our upper link ball end. And I get people ask me, they're like, Kenny, how do you know so much about RC cars? Well, there's a little story behind that. So I used to work at a hobby store. So I made planes, trains, cars, boats, models, all kinds of stuff for people. And most of them were kind of top end for the time. And we did a lot of experimental stuff. Got to mess around with airplanes and helicopters. Alrighty, yeah, I like starting with my center links, if you would, for the upper, and then bring my lower links down, and put the shock in. And as far as like racing RC cars go, I'm kind of fond to lots of horsepower, but I found that stock classes definitely a bunch of fun. Everybody's pretty much running the same stuff, and so makes it driver skill versus equipment. I always enjoy a good race. I'll get this side here in. Yeah, I like racing so much during the summer months. I go and announce at mud races in the area. Woohoo! Alright, there we have it. Now, all we have to do is hook up the shocks. Looks like we got a decent amount of flexibility there. All in all, so far I'm pretty happy with what I got going on. Alright, now we're going to take these And we are going to attach that to where the body mounts are. So I'm going to show you where that's at right here. We're going to remove this screw. And we're going to take this screw and we're going to screw it into there. Now that will hold the body mount and the shock. And as you can see, you just barely got enough room to make it fit. Let me go grab it. And sometimes you got to break down and grab the right screwdriver for the right job. Alright, we'll pull this screw out. All in all, it's not too hard to do a conversion over. I'm using Himoto Tonto rear shocks, 4 of them. And the springs are a little bit stiff for me, but I think it'll work for now. It's going to be a lot heavier rig when I'm done because Scrappy's going to get a new body. Scrappy's going to get a Rubicon body, and we're going to kind of maybe branch out a little bit more into the scaling aspect of the RCs. And there's your axle. It's huge. Okay, now on the back I got these two little links. I will eventually have a steering link basically go across. But what these links do is they keep the wheels from wobbling for now, and eventually I'll have a steering link in there. Alright, now we got to get the drive shaft out of here. Okay, here we go. Had to grab the right wrench. Alrighty. There's the drive shaft. And we're going to put a new one in there, like so. Alrighty, now for the set screw. You may have some vibration issues and may need to stick with a plastic or a lighter drive shaft that will reduce some of your rotating mass in the drive line area. Okay, so there we go. We have it fully hooked up on the rear. Looks like I got a spring issue over here to solve. And it's a lot heavier in the rear than it is in the front. Dun-da-da. Alrighty. Now we go to the front axle. And all the same rules apply. Alrighty, so we're gonna take this apart and let you know some of the RC cars I've owned in my lifetime. I've had Grasshoppers and Blackfoot, Monster Beetle, Vanessa's Lunchbox, RC10, Losi, Slingshot, had Custom Works. We built sprint car cages and things from brake line tubing. Alright, we're gonna take off these two little rocker mounts for my shocks. And you see this skid plate in the front. That'll have to be removed to make room for the servo arm to slide. So I'll have to take and make me an extended front bumper by about 1/2 an inch. Or at least the bumper mount anyway. You can see the difference in these little guys and what we're replacing them with. Big difference. Alright, and just to let you know how long this actually takes, it takes about 40 minutes to an hour to do a whole conversion. Once you've got your plan down to a science. And yeah, I like RC cars. They're a lot of fun. They teach you a lot about working on real cars. And I used to hang out in the garage with my dad, watch him work on cars and stuff in the evening. Even though he taught auto mechanics, he still worked on cars in the evening just so he could keep up with things that were coming out in the future. And he actually kind of liked it, I think. Alrighty then. Alright, here's my part that's the odd man out. And we'll have to do a little adjustment later. It's going to be just a little tad short on that side. And I like doing my upper link first. It just makes everything a lot easier because you're not having to work through a bunch of links to try to get to the middle. And gives you a little bit more wiggle room at the same time. And we'll get this snug down here a little bit. Have to make some adjustments in a minute. But that's all good. Alrighty. Now, we will get to the shock. And we'll put the screw in from the outside just to make it easier. I'll probably relocate them to the inside. And keep in mind as I'm putting all this together too, that this is pretty much a whole bunch of scrap parts that I had laying around from other projects or stuff along those lines. So it's not like I, have a whole lot of money invested into this little conversion, but plan it out just a little before you get started, and it will make life so much easier. See, there we go. Need to be a little snugging down, but that'll work. Alright, now we're getting ready to remove that screw and replace it with the top screw for the shock mount. Alrighty, now some of you guys are going to have this issue, and I'm going to explain to you how to solve it, because it's very simple. If you look here and here, the gap is wrong. Okay. The reason this doesn't have enough gap in it is because the white link on this side actually needs to become a little bit longer. Okay, now that I've got that straightened out, you see how this gap here and this gap here are really close to being the same. I need to come just a little bit longer with that side. Just a tad. And then that'll all line up. Alright, here we are. Scrappy in all his glory. New axles. The old axles weren't bad, they were just a little bit wimpy as far as I'm concerned. A little bent some spindles. But anyway, there you are. If you have a Barrage, an Outback, or one of the new RTGs, you can swap some bigger axles underneath it without too much of a problem. Hope this helps you out. Thanks for watching. share, like, and subscribe. Feel free to leave a comment. But right now, I think I got this urge to go out and find me a rock somewhere.